Hello and welcome. We are going to do a round of the hook up exercise. So let's begin. We're going to start with a middle finger inside your navel. If that's not comfortable for you, then you can pop your finger about an inch above or below your navel. Otherwise, just inside. Your other middle finger goes above your bridge of your nose at your third eye. And with both fingers, you want to push in a bit and pull up. So it's not an excessive yank. The pressure can vary a little bit, so you could try it just with a very gentle pulling, then see how it feels if you pull a bit harder, and find the middle ground on that spectrum for you, where it feels really easy, pleasant, and just holding here, taking some breaths. You are hooking up your central and governing meridian pathways. You might notice after a little bit of time, you might find that you take a big yawn or sigh, like a sudden in-breath of air, or there might be another sign in your body that energy is moving and your energies are hooking up. Sometimes people might cough a little bit or burp. But yawns and sighs are very common, particularly with the hookups. So let's relax your arms now, and you might want to give them a bit of a shake or even smooth down, moving away any stale old energy. And we're going to move round this cycle or round of hookups. Different alternate hookups that you can use either independently by themselves or you can combine them. So we're going to combine them into a really yummy, deep, nourishing experience. Let's do another one now. You'll be doing your navel and tailbone. So popping a finger either inside or just above or below your navel, and then your other hand is at your tailbone. And again, with both hands, you push in, pull up, just the amount that feels right for you. This particular hookup is excellent for moving energy around this lower part of the body, around the pelvic bowl. This is your root chakra down here at the groin area. So wonderful to get the energy moving here. Particularly if you are sitting down a lot, because being seated can really lead to energy becoming stagnant and sluggish in this area. But also it's quite common that people have scar tissue at this area. Particularly women, a lot of women have had caesarean sections giving birth. So if that's you, and you might be aware that things feel a bit sluggish sometimes here. So this is a great exercise you can bring in. And a gentle reminder to take some deep breaths if you're not already. Remember, at any point, bringing your attention to your breath can be helpful while you are balancing your energies. The breath will help the energy to move. And perhaps you might tune in to this area. Notice how you feel all round your pelvic bowl, where your hips, lower back, the buttocks, lower belly. Potentially you might feel all kinds of sensations around that area, and sometimes it might be quite subtle. So bringing your attention as best you can to your body and your energies. The next hookup we'll do together is one that connects the front and the back of the body, just like this one. And you'll be keeping the finger that's in your navel or near it. And then your hand that's at your tailbone is going to come to your power point, which is the big dip at the top of the back of your neck. So holding at your navel and the power point, again, pushing in, pulling up. If your arms are getting tired, feel free to swap round. You can do that at any time. Also, if you'd like to, shake your hands off, smooth the energy down your arms, any point, if that feels right. And while you continue to hold this hook up, I'll take a moment and show you exactly what's going on in your energies, because maybe you're newer to energy medicine and wondering, what are these pathways I'm working with, and what does it mean to hook up my energies, and why might I want to do this exercise? So if you continue holding, and I'll show you, when you do the hook up, what you are balancing is a connection between your central and governing meridian energy pathways. Meridians are energy pathways. You may have heard of them. It's what acupuncturists mostly are working with. So they come from Chinese medicine, and they are pathways, like a pipe in a kitchen or like a river, and like a river the water flows along that pathway, or maybe not. Maybe there's been a storm and some trees and branches and things have fallen in the river and the water might not be able to flow as well. So that can be an idea of something that can happen sometimes in our meridian energy pathways. We can get different kinds of imbalances, such as a blockage, and it can prevent the energy from flowing with ease as well as it possibly could. So central meridian is located at the front of your body, like so, as I just traced. Governing meridian is at the back of your body, so it starts just below the tailbone and it comes all the way up the back and then comes round to where it ends at your mouth here. And ideally, when we are balanced, these two pathways at the front and the back, they make a loop, and we call that loop the microcosmic orbit, which I love. Microcosmic orbit, very fun. So if you like to, while you're holding your hook up, it can be really lovely to bring in some visualization. So knowing the location of those pathways will help you, because you can visualize and imagine the energy flowing along both those pathways in a loop in that orbit. And the energy flows in both directions. So you've got both directions going at the same time. And it can be really excellent to bring your attention to that. Another thing you might do is imagine the hands connecting between the 2 points. So let's move to a different hook up together now, and you could do that if you'd like. So let's hook up your third eye and your power point. So above your nose, and then at that big dip at the top of the back of the neck, the power point. Again, pushing in, pulling up, however much you'd like. And noticing how this one feels. And of course, if you like to, you can visualize the energy connecting specifically between these 2 points that you're holding. So perhaps seeing a line, some light, maybe some figure eights connecting between your hand that's at your third eye and your hand that's at your tailbone, or power point rather. So we won't hold this one for long as you've got your arms up in the air. If you are doing this at home at other times, then I definitely recommend putting cushions or pillows under your arms. Then you can lay there really comfy, you can totally sit back and relax. And it means that you can hold these for longer if you like to, and there can be numerous benefits to holding hookups for extended periods of time. So let's relax out of that one, certainly giving your arms a shake, smoothing the energy down and off. And we will do tailbone and power point. And again, pushing in, pulling up, noticing any signs that your energies are receiving this one differently perhaps. Sometimes some of the hookups can land better than others and will create more balance. There are people sometimes who will hook up better at the back of the body. So if you like doing it this way, this might be one that you'll do every single day. You certainly don't have to be combining the hookups and doing them for longer periods of time. So taking some breaths, bringing presence to your body, noticing the area between your hands. Perhaps now bringing your attention to central meridian at the front of your body, going from just below the pubic bone all the way up to your mouth. And if you'd like, you could scan and move slowly along that pathway, just noticing how the area feels. Can you feel any sensations perhaps along the pathway? We all experience energy differently, so things can feel very different depending on you and your energies. But maybe you might feel some tingling, some warmth. You might feel a sense of a kind of pulsing, a bit like checking your pulse at your wrist. And if you'd like to, you might bring your attention to governing meridian. That's the pathway at the back of your body, starting below your tailbone, going all the way up the back of your spine, coming round the top of the head and ending at your upper lip. Again, you might bring your attention to anywhere at all along that pathway. Just noticing what you feel, not necessarily drawing any major conclusions, just noticing. And what you'll find is that the more that you bring your attention and presence, and the more that you notice how things feel before, during and after that you do energy exercises, you'll begin to notice subtle sensations and certain exercises that feel better than others. And you might not be able to explain why, but you know that it feels good. And if it feels good, then almost certainly it's doing something wonderful in your energies. So now let's relax out of this hookup. Again, you might give your arms a little wiggle and shake, smoothing the energy off. And let's return to the classic hookup that people do most commonly, which is your navel and your third eye. And let me share with you some of the reasons why you might choose to do a hookup. One of the main things about the hookup is that it's very grounding and centering. When I do a hookup, often it feels like a returning home to myself. It will help to create a strong energetic backbone for you. And the microcosmic orbit that gets formed when you create the hookup and that connection between central and governing, that orbit will bathe most of your major chakras and your organs, and all of this area is bathed in this wonderful energy. Provides a lot of support, stability and balance. So hookups can be really great at times when we feel a bit dizzy, because they can be very centering. They can also feel really nice to do if you've had a bit of a shock for some upsetting news and you're feeling emotionally kind of off kilter. They'll bring you back to feeling centered. And I've had times in life where, for example, I was heartbroken once after a breakup, and I did a hookup for about an hour. And I swapped round as we are now. I gave my arms a little break, but for about an hour in total, I sat and I cried and my mind was racing, and I just knew if I continued to hold that hookup that I would get grounded and centered, and it did indeed help. And by the end of the hour, I wasn't on top of the world with joy, but I was calm. I felt a sense of ease and contentedness, and this is such a gift in these moments to be able to do that for ourselves. So relaxing out of that final hookup now, taking another moment to tune in with yourself, maybe closing your eyes if that helps, and noticing how you're feeling after those hookups and combining them. Remember, you can do those hookups in any way that you wish. In other words, you might just do the classic hookup that's included in the daily energy routine. Or you might have a favourite hookup that you find when you do it, you think, wow, this one feels really good. So do that one more often. And you might like bringing them together in any combination. You can go back and forth between the ones that we did. Use as your landmarks, if you will, your navel, your third eye, your power point, and your tailbone. And so any combination of those 4 locations in any order is wonderful. When you hold hookups for several minutes or longer, you will help to really engage and harmonise your radiant circuits. And radiant circuits are energies that are all about joy and peace and feeling really strong and solid. So that's another reason to bring more hookups into your life. Another reason that you might do it is that when we hook up for longer, we have these spirals of energy that come out into the auric field. So if you're not familiar with the aura, it's this wonderful field or a biofield of energy all around you that's a bit like a spacesuit that protects you. And it has lots of different jobs and roles, ways that it helps you to feel and be at your best. So when you're doing hookups for longer, you're really supporting your aura as well. Thank you so much for joining me, and may the hookups bring you so much contentment, ease and joy. Take good care.